How are you, Michael?
Real good. Just finished working out. Breaking a little sweat. Something you don't get to do in the studio that much. I seen you're 40.
No. Look, Michael. When you opened your mouth on that show for 4 hours, I was sweating each time. Don't kid yourself. I'm sorry. Didn't you see how much makeup I required that show, Michael?
Yeah, you didn't require as much as Marshall though. Marshall had a lot of makeup on. I was actually surprised.
Yeah. Well, Irvin gets him a little bit. Yeah. You were sitting in between them, Michael.
I know, but I was surprised with being a legendary cowboy that he wears so much makeup.
See, now I'm sweating again right now. Michael Bennett, here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Must have been the White House.
So let me ask you this question, Michael. Moving on, to use the Brian Gumbel phrase. So is Sam Bradford going to be at this event this weekend for you, Michael?
No whiners and complainers.
See, what you've gone, Bradford gets under your goat a little bit here. Because you've gone after him a couple times.
Well, it's not that I was just going after him. It's just that as a competitor in the NFL, which is so many great competitors, and everybody's been through certain situations and had to, go through everything they had to do to get to their respective spot. I just hate when I hear a guy talking about, oh, this and that, I want to be traded because you drafted a guy. For me, if I'm a player on the team, I want to hear a guy say, I don't care who you draft. Nobody's taking this position. I'm the guy that's going to lead us to the championship. No matter who y'all draft, I'm going to be that guy. And that's how Russell Wilson is, and that's the kind of competitor I love. And I just hate, hearing those type of things.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess your quarterback, Michael, is kind of an outlier here because of Pete Carroll's always compete mantra, and that somebody like Russell Wilson can get drafted and have an opportunity to become what Russell Wilson has become. But don't you think this is a quarterback thing in general, that many quarterbacks don't like competition when it comes down to it?
I think there's some, but there's a group of them that are competitive, and those are the people that's always in the playoffs. So those guys that are so competitive, they want to win at everything. My brother, Nadi's with Tom Brady. He just told me how competitive he is. You got those competitors that refuse to lose, and then there's a bunch of guys that's always worried about who's behind them instead of worried about how we're going to win this championship. And that's the difference between the two tiers of quarterback, in my opinion.
But what if you sign a contract, with a team, 2 years? You sign a contract with a team that says, if you ball out in these 2 years, we'll give you the long-term deal you're looking for. And then they go ahead and draft somebody at your position, giving up a ton of picks to go get that spot. Shouldn't you be upset about that, though?
No. Every year they draft people. They just drafted Frank Clark last year. Should I tell them about I want to play because you drafted him? That's what drives your team, is the competitive players behind you. When you got people behind you, you know that you can do it. You didn't hear Brett Favre. When Brett Favre got Aaron Rodgers was drafted, he just kept playing and playing. And then when it was his turn, he became the player. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is in the NFL. There's always somebody behind you. There's always somebody getting drafted behind you that's supposed to come in and take your spot. It's your job not to let anybody come in and take your spot.
Yeah, but
everybody.
Sure. No, but I also sometimes hear it from Irv and from Marshall that they and when Sapp was on the show, Sapp would always, turn at Kurt and say, you guys, the quarterbacks, you don't like it if you have to compete for your job. That there always has to be one quarterback. There can always be 4 pass rushers, but there's always got to be the one guy, and that one guy has to be known as the guy for everybody on the team to rally around him. And
but the guy you can't. People, no matter if the team say you're the guy, you got to make yourself the guy. The guy is the guy who wins the games. At the end of the day, it's not the guy who they pick. It's the guy who comes out and wins the games, and then that's how you become the guy. When you win a championship, then you don't have to worry about having competition because you're a winner. You win it, you proven it every week. Russell Wilson don't have to worry about it because he's been to championships and the playoffs. Cam Newton doesn't have to worry about it because he's been to the playoffs and championships. So does Aaron Rodgers. These guys keep going on and on and on, and then the rest of them, there's guys that don't compete like that, in my opinion.
Michael Bennett. No, look, and you've got those. Michael Bennett, Seattle defensive end, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. You think Marshawn's retired? You think he's really done?
Yeah, I think he's done. He might make an appearance later on, but I think he's done for right now. He's played a lot of football. He's done a lot of great things on the field. I think he's really focused on his community work, all the things he does in Oakland. and all his projects around the country. So I wanted to play again, but we'll see.
What do you think? Training camp runs around though, like, you know how it works. Who wants to do OTAs and all that stuff at training camp? But you think you can maybe show up late July, say, hey, I'm back, or late August even, say I'm back. You think?
Oh yeah, I don't think they will block him from coming back, but I think it's always going to be up to him. And I think if he decides to come back, any team will be open arms for him, because there's only 3 running backs in the NFL that can really do what he does, and it's on that competitive level that can change the game every game, and he's one of those guys.
So what about you, Michael? What about your future in Seattle as it currently stands? What do you think of that?
No, my future is bright. It's been bright. I think we're poised for another championship contender year. We got a lot of great guys on the team, a lot of young guys coming in. I think Russell Wilson is in his 5th year. He's understanding the offense and understanding what's going on, and I think he's going to have a great season.
No, I know. You know what I'm trying to talk about here, Michael. Right? You and I.
No, I'm trying to figure it out, Rich. I'm trying.
No, look, I mean, you're a guy who's one of the best at the position, and wants to get what you think you deserve, which is long-term future contract.
No, definitely. I mean, I think every player in the NFL wants to, have that long-term future and make sure that they're, get there what they do, especially when they're a competitor and they go out there and they put it on the line every week and do what the team asks them to do. I think every guy wants to be compensated at a high level, and hopefully, maybe the Seahawks would take care of me like that.
Yeah, I mean, because Paul Allen's got the money, right, Michael? He could just lift up a couch cushion and probably give you the contract you're looking for.
I don't know. Maybe he does have the money. You never know. But I hate to see his automatic bill paid for the month. It must be crazy.
You think he's on auto pay? Do you think Paul Allen's on auto pay?
He has to be on auto pay. That's a lot of millions that he's spending every month. It's got to be at least 40 or 50.
Auto pay's got to be somebody who writes like a human being who does it for him, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, it's about 7 auto pay people.
Michael Bennett here on the Rich Eisen Show. What about your brother? Is he going to be Martellosaurus Rex in the Belichick world? Because we've seen Gronk be Gronk. Can Martellus still be Martellus over there in New York?
I mean, if Gronk could do the things he does there, I mean, he should be fine, because Gronk is one of those players that's just crazy in the NFL and gets away with it. So my brother, he's just more of a creative vibe. He does it, creating his Hey AJ series right now, work on a lot of things like that. He's just more of a creative guy versus being a troublemaker and getting into any trouble. He's never really got into any trouble, even as a kid.
And buddy, is it true he's named his dog Sebastian Janikowski? Is that a true story?
Yeah, he likes Sebastian Janikowski. He always talks about him as one of his favorite players. So he named his dog after him.
If you had a pet, who would you name the pet after? Mark. Who would you? Would it be Hauschka?
Probably Westbrook.
Well,
Westbrook.
Okay.
I want a vicious dog, a dog that's got such a competitor. Sometimes I watch the game, I'm like, dang, Westbrook makes me want to even go to another level as a competitor, because the way that he plays the game of basketball is like, he could have been a great football player, a great baseball player, because his competitive edge is like second to none to play sports. So
who do you think's going to win the NBA championship then? Let's ask.
I think as long as the Thunder don't play the Golden State game of trying to shoot threes and just play their traditional game of basketball and clamp them. Actually, because I feel like Steph Curry, nobody ever plays defense on him. They kind of don't play like back in the day in the early '90s and late '80s and '70s. Defense was a part of basketball, and it wasn't like a award for a guy to see a guy play defense. Now it's kind of like nobody ever plays defense in the NBA, like except for about 7 guys. And,
you sound like Barkley now, Michael. Like all the old school guys saying, why isn't Curry on his ass more often if he's going down the paint? That's what.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you watch the game and you just like guys are just going through like 5 people, and then it's like there's like 3 guys on each team that hustled, and the rest of the guys are kind of just standing there and. Then you got a great team like the Thunder. They have a great defenders with Adams and Ibaka, and then Westbrook and Durant sometimes defensive guy. But he's a great offensive player, and And when you got those kind of guys, I think they just needed to corral him and not give him any easy shots. And I think they can win this game.
So you're saying you're saying the Thunder needs Cam Chancellor, is basically what you're saying.
They need an enforcer. They got an enforcer. You got to have an enforcer. You got to have that Rodman. You got to have that unselfish guy on your team that just wants to be a great teammate and wants to just get the ball to the best player every time and, hold up that block that, like for Ray Lewis, you got the big guys in front of him. Tony Saragusa, they're just holding up the block and just letting him come through and make those tackles.
How can people get involved in your weekend to benefit your foundation, Michael?
Oh, they got to look up the BennettFoundation.com and look up all the things we're doing. I mean, we're unfortunately in a lot of underprivileged areas, especially the black community. We're dealing with a lot of things with obesity and different types of diseases from the type of food that we've been eating over the years. And food is changing and everything is evolving and more grassroots now. So I'm just pushing gardening and pushing in the healthy lifestyle, get exercising, and see my people live more time on this earth and make sure that they're doing the right things to understand about their healthy habits that they have and things they can do, and not think that the only way to eat healthy is, to spend a lot of money. You could just really grow your own food and it'd be a lot cheaper.
Neat. Friday night is the dinner and auction. Saturday is the camp, the educational camp on Saturday.
The camp is cool, though. The camp is so cool because we always get a lot of kids and families out and parents, and it's always fun to see people and the parents actually compete against each other. The kids against their parents, they never want to lose, and the kids can't let the kids win, because if the kids win, they never gonna listen to them again. So, the mom, no matter how old she is, she will not lose to her son.
Nice, nice. And then Sunday is the demand to trade because you don't like to compete seminar taught by Professor Bradford, correct, Michael?
Yeah, of course. Or if you want to learn how to compete, we can watch Russell Westbrook on Sunday too.
Okay.
He'll show you how to do it.
Okay.
He's definitely one of my favorite. My favorite team is the Spurs, but my favorite player has to be Westbrook.
Okay, there you have it. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate the time. Let us know when you're down in L.A. I'd love to have you here in studio.
All right, no problem.
You got it. That's Michael Bennett.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.